Hey, gang, coming up on episode 181 on Finding Better Podcast, Amy Lenius is joining us, and we're going to talk about one of those things that is so core in finding better in your life, and that is believing in yourself. Okay? Super hard to do, but it is so, so core, and it's such a heartwarming conversation and a heart-provoking conversation, not a thought-provoking conversation, although it is that too. It's amazing. You're going to learn so much from Amy. She's a rock star. She is full of heart, and she's got lots to share with you. Please share this. Okay? Here we go. Hello, 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 and welcome back to our Finding Better podcast. My name is John Suzuki, and I am your host. And this is where we share real life lived wisdom and experiences. Because you know what? Sometimes the best path to success is to follow in the footsteps of people who have been there and done what you're trying to do. And so we're not talking about theories, we're not talking about academics, we're not talking about opinions. We're talking about real wisdom that has been gained through life. My guest today is Amy Lenius. And Amy is I'm really looking forward to this because I'm going to learn a lot from you, Amy. Welcome to Finding Better Podcast.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah. So Amy is a speaker, she's a coach, and she's the director of group coaching at an organization called Next Level University. She helps people, mostly women, but Amy, this also applies to men too, right?
Very much so.
Okay, perfect. Otherwise, I don't want to talk to you because it won't apply to me. Okay,
That's fine.
applies to me too. Okay, so she helps people redefine success. This is about finding better, right? Redefine success in a way that feels deeply aligned. That'd be cool, right? Through clarity, self-belief, emotional resilience, self-worth, and sustainable daily habits. That makes sense, right? At the heart of everything she teaches are three foundational pillars. I'm looking forward to learning about these: self worth, self belief, and consistency. And she has found that when you have all three of these things, you can build momentum that feels nourishing and not exhausting. Wouldn't that be cool? And from that space, real transformation happens. You know, Amy, this podcast is
Mhm.
about finding better anything in life, but it is about, in a large case, in a large sense, transformation, right? So tell us your story. Tell us your story, and then in terms of how you learned about the three pillars: self-worth, self-belief, and consistency, and let's go from there.
Absolutely. I am really excited for this conversation, John. So, like you said, my name is Amy Lenius, and I gratefully partner with a company called Next Level University. But my journey with all of this starts years and years and years ago. I grew up with chronic illness, and I grew up very sick. And I went through all of the things that come along with that: surgeries, medications, traveling for specialists, different appointments. And I, for a really long time, went along with what they said and what they told me to do. And it wasn't necessarily going anywhere. I was still in pain all the time. I was on all of these medications. And I had this moment in my early 20s where I was like, oh my goodness, you know what? I would love to just see where I'm at without the medications, without the
Now,
painkillers.
Amy, how long, when did the chronic illness start?
Yeah, like 13,
What
14.
when you were 13 or 14? And
Mhm.
and for my audience and for me, what exactly is a chronic illness?
Mm, something that isn't acute. So acute, it comes and goes, right? You can have a flare up of something, it's in an acute state, and then it goes away. Chronic is all the time.
You're living with it all the time.
Yeah.
And so for 9 years, basically, from 13 to 22, you lived with the doctors, medicine, all that stuff.
Mhm.
And what happened when you were 22 years old that caused you to go, I wonder if there's a better way?
Yeah. I was still just feeling really sick. I was getting side effects from all the different drugs I was on. I
Yeah.
was still in a lot of pain regularly. So I was like, oh my gosh, I would just love to start from scratch and just see where I'm
Hmm.
at, what that would look like. So I safely came off of everything and just went on this journey of discovery, believing that I could at least get a little bit better with other things. Let's just go out there and get curious and find what else there is. I myself was in school for anatomy and
Wow.
physiology at the time. And so I just dove into curiosity. I went and got acupuncture and cranial sacral therapy and physiotherapy and had my fellow students treating me with massage therapy. And I found a wonderful naturopathic doctor, and they just helped me paint this unbelievable picture of whole wellness. And I fell in love with the word holistic, how everything affects everything else. And I really came to terms and learned so much about how my internal environment is a community working all together. You're not just these pieces, these segregated pieces and boxes that people
Right.
want you in.
Right.
And that also has a very intense relationship with your external environment. And your external environment, how that is set up for your health, mental, physical, emotional, however that looks. And so I mean, long story short, I became pain-free. I cleaned up my internal environment, detoxed, and cleaned up my external environment as well. And not just with things like products and tangible things. I'm talking even like persons, places, things, ideas,
Right.
beliefs. It all came together, not just physical health. They were all entwined. And from there, I mean, I had my practice for a little while. I became a
Okay,
public
okay,
speaker.
okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
pause.
I
Okay.
don't want to go. I don't want to go from there yet.
Okay.
Okay, because you said a lot. I mean, there's a. I mean, we could spend the next 3 days unwinding what you just said,
I
right?
know, which is why I try
Okay.
and condense it.
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, so you went from 9 years of I don't know. I mean, pain, maybe agony. I'm sure there was some agony involved.
Very much so.
And you went on this journey, and I love what you said about you got curious. You got curious, right? I mean, that is a muscle that I think is so, so important that so many people have lost,
Hmm.
right? Because, and we lose it. I think one big reason why we lose our curiosity is because, we're kind of trained to curiosity killed the cat, right? And that's a stupid idea, or that's a stupid question, all those different kinds of things. And yet you found yourself when you were 22 years old, living with this chronic illness, deciding to become curious, to learn what's out there. And 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 you learn about this holistic approach, which is also something I love because everything is whole. And the thing is that a lot of people think when they think the term holistic, they think, oh God, here it goes. It's the spiritual freaky thing and all that kind of stuff. You guys, it's just a system.
Yes.
When you think about holistic, think about a comprehensive system. Your body is a system. When 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 you burn your finger, your brain goes, ow. There's a whole system that makes that happen. You know, when you eat something delicious, your brain and your stomach, everything goes, it just celebrates, right? It goes, yay. That's a whole system. If one of those pieces gets messed up, guess what? Something happens across across the whole system. And I also loved what you said about the external. It's not
Mhm.
only internal, but it's external. And I've learned that I don't know, and there's the internal meaning the physical body, and these are just my definitions. There's the external being out there, but I think there's also a middle layer called the spirituality, and
Yes.
perhaps that involves everything. But uh, did this become something of a spiritual journey for you as well?
I think it did in a way of I needed to become deeply connected to myself. I needed to become deeply connected to myself and deeply connected to the things around me. and what
Right.
that meant. And
Yep.
so I do, when people talk about physical health, I think we're missing huge pieces when we don't also bring in and address the mental, emotional, and spiritual aspect of health.
Yes. 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 You know, I just spoke to somebody the other day and they were talking about different kinds of energies that make up our quote unquote aura, right? I mean, if you're into this energy thing, and if you're not, that's okay. But what I'm going to tell you is going to make sense to you. Okay. We not only have physical energy, we have emotional energy, right? We have mental energy. We've got, there is a spiritual energy, right? And we've got all these different kinds of energies because the bottom line, folks, is that if you're watching us right now, I'm holding up my hand. Without energy, this thing called my hand is just a piece of meat, right? So there's something that drives all of us. And so, so you got connected to that stuff.
Yeah, drives and connects all of us too, which I always think is really, really beautiful. And so I found all of that through, like I said, just really connecting to the right persons, places, things, ideas, beliefs. And I mean, even just talking about the mental aspect of it, you see so often in chronic illness that that becomes someone's identity. And they're so
Yes.
tied
Yes.
that they believe that there is no other option for them, which I mean can even tie into self-worth, which I know that's where we're going. But they deeply start to believe, again, it's not conscious because who's going to logically, consciously say, oh, I'm not worthy of feeling healthy? But there is a belief that happens, an underlying belief that happens in the identity where they feel like they are so stuck that they genuinely cannot be helped. And it doesn't matter what they do or what they try, so they actually just don't try. And that has been really sad to witness in a lot of the people who share my illness.
Yeah. Now, as you encounter some of those people, have you been able to help some of them as you helped yourself?
Yeah, I feel like I have. When I started stepping into public speaking, because again, this message was just so powerful for women to connect to their cycles. My condition is called endometriosis, which is a fancy word, but it's very female hormone driven, where there's lots of imbalances and lots of inflammation and things that happen. There's a huge
Oh,
infertility aspect that comes along. I gratefully on this journey was able to have two children, which is just
oh, yay.
pride and joy, my two boys. And I think what really struck me the most as I started speaking into the natural wellness space for women's health was just the general knowledge of your female health just wasn't there. I had to learn it along my journey as well. It wasn't taught to me by any means of, hey, you're a woman, this is how your body works, just in general. And so I found the deepest impact actually there, talking to women about their cyclical nature, talking to them about simplistic things and changes they can make at home just to honor their natural cycle and have that be less problematic, let alone the, 1 in 8, let's say, I think is the stats in Canada of women who struggle with things like endometriosis, infertility, PCOS, and things. That's a whole deeper layer.
Oh,
Hmm.
okay. Yeah, I mean, pretty heavy stuff,
It
right?
is.
And you know, my my wife for years and years and years, which was also something that led to this me doing this podcast. You know, she was telling me for years. She says, "John, you need to teach a college class." And I said, "What's a college class?" And she says, "The college class should be titled something like everything they don't teach you in school
Oh,
that you need to know in life."
oh,
Right?
yes. I
Right?
desperately need to connect you to one of my counterparts, Alan. That was his start. His whole business when he first started wasn't Next Level University. It's what you didn't learn in school and desperately need to know. That was the
Right?
slogan. You guys
And
would get along.
yeah, yeah. Well, maybe I'd like to have him on the podcast and we could talk about, okay, what are the top three things people need to know that they don't teach in school? I'd love to have that conversation with them. Yeah. And folks, that here you go for a preview for an upcoming episode on finding better. But um, yeah, so what are the kinds of things, and maybe we talked about it already, but what are the kinds of things that you just referenced, the general health knowledge of women that they don't teach you, that they don't teach folks,
Yeah, even just to do a super macro zoomed out version is that we not only are very different than men, but we are, if you
Yeah.
very
Yeah. Thank you very much.
hormonally,
It's
cyclically, like there's
like,
just so much that
why
goes
is
into
there a
that.
debate about this? I
Oh,
don't
I
understand.
know.
Anyway,
I
sorry,
know.
go ahead.
No, but even just there's this wonderful study done on, I think it was like 46,000 brain scans and how they differentiated like the female limbic system versus the men's versus the frontal lobe. It was, oh, it was so incredible. And just this obviously very profound mass study with that many people, but I digress. The best picture I can paint is that you yourself, John, you're like the sun. You cycle on a 24-hour clock. Your highs and lows of your testosterone and everything happens within 24 hours. You're kind of the same every day. Now, that's also based on sleep and mood and things. Obviously, you can feel different every day, but your
Sure.
hormonal cycle is 24 hours. You're the same. Women are like the moon. We are slightly different every day, and we are absolutely very different week to week to week. And that goes for a 26 to 34 day cycle, depending on the woman.
Whoa.
Mm.
I have never, I'm sitting here going, okay, that explains a lot of things.
Doesn't it if you have a wife and daughters?
But yeah, 40 years I've been married to my wife. Okay, so explain that. Explain the moon thing and what that means. And yeah, how does that manifest itself into, daily relationships? And
Oh my gosh.
I'm getting ready for bombs to blow up in my head. Okay, go for it.
So it can affect our daily relationships so much because we're different beings every week. Energetically, mentally, even physically, our brains and physical appearance and things function and look different during these different times of the month. It's wild. It's so wild. And so what I found in women is we had no idea. And so women would look at themselves at one week and be like, "Oh my gosh, I was so social. I was consistent. I felt really good about myself. I was crushing my workouts. I was able to stick to my diet, all of these things." And then the next week, I'm a potato. I don't know how to do anything. I can't be consistent. And then there was so much shame around these different versions of themselves and why they couldn't be the same. And my greatest gift I've been able to hand these women is because you're not meant to be. You're literally not mentally, emotionally, and physically set up to be the same every week. So the moon analogy is beautiful because we all know the moon's slightly different every day. But what I love is to break those weeks down into seasons. So women go through a spring, a summer, a fall, and a winter every month. And the energies connected to each season is very similar. So picture spring. Spring, everything's coming back to life. We're coming out of our hibernation. We are feeling a little more creative, a little more clear. And that is the first week and a bit after a woman's cycle, after her period. And so she's just coming back to life. And then the progesterone and the estrogen change a little bit. The estrogen peaks. So these are our hormones that we run. Our estrogen peaks, and all of a sudden we're in inner summer. It is time for barbecues, social aspects. We are ready to have margaritas, go out dancing.
What?
Right? It is like,
Really?
yes. And that is when we're also very primed to be more connected physically, emotionally with our
And
partners,
it and
counterparts.
just real quick. So, and this is based on menstrual cycle.
Yes, yes.
This is
So when someone
so
says
it's just
menstrual cycle, they think your
yeah.
period. They think your period, and that is it. No, your menstrual cycle is from start to finish, 26 to
Yeah, yeah,
34
yeah.
days long.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what
Yeah.
I'm thinking. I'm thinking, okay, got it. Interesting. Okay, keep going.
So
Yeah.
think of the energy of summer. That's what she's feeling. Even her physical state is different. Her face is more symmetrical. She's feeling more herself. She's very articulate. Even so, okay, so me going on podcasts, when I'm in inner summer, I crush. I'm so I'm so clear. I'm so focused. My articulation is better. My cognitive ability is better. My ability to interact is way better. Now, when I go into inner fall and the whole thing shifts, the estrogen drops and the progesterone comes up, I am not as engaged. Now, I still go on podcasts, but the difference is having this knowledge, I am not in shame about how last week I did excellent and this week I think I only did okay.
Wow.
So you can
That
see how
is
this can
yeah, and
be.
then so what happens in the wintertime?
The winter is your period. So inner fall is when you're prepping for winter. Your progesterone is supposed to come up and spike, and this is where we see a lot of problems in women's health, is a lot of women are not getting that huge, beautiful curve come up of progesterone because of stress, because of external toxins, all sorts of things. Our day-to-day life as women is no longer supporting that really important push of progesterone before our cycles. So we see a lot of mood changes during that time because our serotonin, which is a hormone that keeps us really happy, that naturally just dips during that part, but we'd never notice because our progesterone comes in and acts almost like an anti-anxiety. But if we don't have that curve coming in, if we're not having a healthy fluctuation of these hormones, you see a lot of difference in women here. Now, there's a natural difference. We're just prone to be very aware of our environment in the inner fall. We are prepping for winter or the fact that we're about to be pregnant, which is what the cycle is doing all of the time, right?
Right.
And so I think fall, it's very cozy. It's very, we're really in need of carbohydrates and all of the things. And then we hit inner winter, and that's when our period starts. That's day one, and it's our inner winter. And that, I mean, all the things of winter, we want to feel more internal. We want to feel a little separate. We want to go into our caves and hibernate and be alone and not be touched and bothered and things by people. And then it ends and we come back into inner spring. And we are doing that all the time. And yet we are
Well,
not only expecting ourselves to be the same all the time, we're expected societally to be the same all the time. And it's,
exactly.
yes.
Exactly. I, holy cow. I mean, that was beautiful. That was beautiful. And guys out there listening, please don't, please don't skip to, oh yeah, it's just a menstrual cycle. Yeah, no. What you talked about in terms of the chemistry in a woman's body is very, very obviously you talked about that, right?
Mhm.
We as men don't have to deal with that stuff. And so it's just so fascinating how, you're looking at each cycle being 4 seasons
Yeah.
and what that means because we can guys can understand 4 seasons. We can certainly understand summer barbecues. We can certainly understand, right, winter and you know hunkering down and gets cold and you know in Seattle it gets dark and my mood changes. It changes a lot, right? And then you get into spring, it's like, all right, let's go. The flowers are blooming, and it's a wonderful time. Wow.
Yeah.
And so I can only imagine. I mean, and I'm a guy, and I'm listening to you, and I'm going, wow. I mean, what's the response that you get from women who aren't aware of this?
Oh, they feel so seen. They feel so seen and validated in the
Oh,
thing they have been fighting against their whole life. Can you imagine
yeah,
like just unconsciously fighting against that all the time? When in reality,
yes.
if you learn about it and you can move through it with intention, grace, understanding, it's an entirely different life.
Oh my gosh. Okay, everybody. You've never heard me say this in the middle of a podcast episode. You have to share this episode. You have to share what Amy is sharing because we all need to know this. I mean, this is crazy. I mean, I will tell you, I mean, I am so blessed and I'm so grateful that my wife has stayed with me for 40 years. We're going to celebrate our 40-year anniversary next year in March. And I think back, I mean, if I knew this, right? Oh my gosh. This is crazy. Okay, so now I can say, okay, guys, that part of it applied to women.
I don't know. I think it's pretty pivotal for men to know and understand. I can't tell
Oh,
you
totally. No,
how
that is,
wonderful it is to be in a marriage that I am in, for example, where my husband understands that so deeply. He can
I'm
sometimes
not
tell when I'm
discounting.
shifting before I can. It's
Yeah.
wonderful.
No, when I said it didn't apply to men, I meant the physical, actual part of the experience of being a woman. And but I mean, when I say share this with everyone, especially men,
Mhm.
especially your male friends, right? Because I mean, understanding this, I mean, I don't know how I'm going to apply it to. Well, I do. I mean, well, anyway, I was thinking about business life, right? And just having this understanding um, will give us more understanding, right?
Very much so.
And
This
empathy.
Yes, empathy, and even
It's really
like women
important.
can tailor their business life around understanding this cycle.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you have creative work that you do, leverage that first part of your season. Leverage inner spring because that's when all your creative juices are flowing. When you have
Oh
organizational
my gosh.
time, if you need to organize and purge and go through emails and spreadsheets and stuff, if you have the ability to save that for inner fall, your brain is primed for it. If you're a public speaker and you run meetings and things, try and schedule them around ovulation, that inner summer, because you will crush compared to the other seasons. Amazing.
You'll crush it. Wow. That is so cool. That is so cool. All right. So let's talk about the first pillar. Okay, just to remind, the three pillars, the foundational pillars were self-worth, self-belief, and consistency. Let's talk about self-worth.
hmm Yeah. Actually, I would love to start with self-belief because it's a
Okay,
part of
okay,
both
yeah,
of them.
please.
Yeah, it's a part of both of them. And I can tie this to my story. So when I looked back, again, hindsight's always 2020, but why was I able to push through and do all of these things
Right,
and
right,
stay consistent and keep fighting for my own health,
right.
where a lot of women don't? I look back and I can see that I had a very high level of self-belief. So self-belief is your ability to achieve things externally, your beliefs in your competency, your capability, and your ability, yeah, like I said, to achieve things externally. Mine was very high. And I can look back and be like, okay, some of the women that I tried to support, why couldn't they do what I was doing? Why couldn't they stay as consistent as I was staying? Why couldn't they just believe that this was possible? But not only that it was possible for them and that
Right,
going to be worth it. Those are the three layers of belief that we see all the time is it possible? Well, I'm living proof that it is possible somewhere. Is it possible for me? Those are two different
yes,
answers regularly,
yes,
aren't
yes,
they? Oh,
totally.
and so there was this
Be-
layer missing of I
Because
didn't.
people look at you and they go, "Oh yeah, look at Amy. I mean, she's beautiful, she's outgoing, she's articulate, it's just not me. I mean, it worked for her, right?
Yeah. And then you get this like must be nice syndrome. Oh, that must be nice for you. Good for you, but that's not me without even trying. And that's low self-belief. That
Yeah,
is a deep lack of belief that you are capable of doing this thing. And then we always want to hit that bottom layer, which is the worthiness factor, that worth it factor. Do I believe it's possible? Do I believe it's possible for me? Maybe. Is it going to be worth it? I can't tell you, John, how often I get asked, well, what was the one thing? What was the one thing that made you better? No, it was not one thing. It was years
yeah,
of unsexy fundamentals that got me better. And no one wants to
yep,
hear that. And that's too bad. It really is because they are dismissing the things that they could do over time that could make a difference. I constantly see people underestimate the power of time. We always overestimate what we think we can get done in a day, but we
right.
constantly underestimate what we can achieve in a year, 3 years, 5 years, a decade. Like I've been on this journey. I'm 38 now, and I became pain free for sure, like full on, no symptoms, pain free in my early 30s. But there was
So that was
improvement along the way.
so yeah, there was improvement, but that's a 10-year journey.
It
I
is.
mean, you started the journey at 22 years old, and it's yeah, I okay, so I love the analogy of building muscles, right?
Mhm.
Because anybody who says that they want to be Mr. Universe overnight, it's just not going to happen, right? I mean, it takes consistent training. Another example, as we're talking about health, is money. You
Yes.
know, it time, time, the power of compounding, and that's what we're talking about here. We're talking, when you're talking about money, you're talking about time because over time you keep adding, and the value of money and interest and all that kind of stuff, and ends up retiring you. But it's hard because, the first part of it, it's just like, I'm not getting anywhere. Okay, so I saved $1,000. It's not doing anything. But then you turn around 10 years later, after doing it over and over and over and adding and saving every single day, every single month, And after 10 years, you turn around, you go, where'd all this money come from? Let alone 20 years. And I feel like that's kind of the same thing
It
that
is.
you're talking about. I mean, you have to keep working at it. You have to keep believing that things will get better. And along the way, right, you see, and this is what I'm hoping, that you saw improvement. You saw
Yes.
improvement and you saw that things were getting better. So hopefully that helped build your belief that, you know, if I keep on going, it's gonna be even better still.
Yeah, and sometimes when we're on this journey, we need to borrow someone else's belief for a little while, and that's okay. It really is. When we have low belief in something, but we just want it so desperately, we can borrow someone else's belief in us. We really can, especially someone who is ahead of us on that journey and has achieved that thing themselves. They're going to pour so much belief into you if they're a decent, amazing human being. But it's that, like even I leverage Alan all the time. So Alan is the guy I said who started that company of what you didn't learn in school but desperately need to know, and he wanted to speak at
Uh-huh.
schools. Shockingly, no one hired him to speak at schools. But
Yeah, that was the other part of it. I'm like, what school is gonna want to hire me?
yes, because I grew up with chronic illness and because I had this deep underlying belief still that my body was just this broken piece of garbage and somehow I had like tricked it into thinking it wasn't. But I still had that underlying belief, so it was really hard for me to stay consistent with fitness and physically moving my body regularly because I would always go from 0 to 10. I would do nothing and then I'd be like, "Okay, we're doing like an hour of
Right.
cardio and yoga and things." And then all my inflammation would kick up and I'd be like, "See, it's not for me. I can't do it." When in reality, I just wasn't setting myself up for success and I didn't
There
believe
you
it was
go.
possible. And so I borrowed belief from him when he said, "I believe you can move your body every day in some way that is going to make sense for you." And we created this framework of consistency that has allowed me to move my body physically every day. And I track this. I think I'm at over 1,050 days. I think I'm over that now. However many, it's over 1,000 for sure. Just by using these things of leveraging belief, leveraging self-worth, and really understanding 5 key steps to consistency, which we can absolutely get to. But belief is the foundation of both of these frameworks of self-worth and consistency. So your level of self-belief, do you believe? Again, there's a overall level of self-belief. I, as a person, have high self-belief, but I had really low self-belief in my ability to be fit and to physically move my body regularly.
Interesting.
So it needs to be applied macro and micro. Macro, I have
Got
high
it.
belief. I believe in a lot of things. I believe in coming in and adding value on this podcast. I believe like 9 out of 10 that I can do that. But moving my body every day for like fitness levels, probably a 1 out of 10 in the beginning. And especially when he said, "Okay, well, what about like going to the gym for an hour every day?" I was like, "Oh, that takes it to a zero." Alan, I don't go to the gym. I don't even
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen.
Nope, nope. I don't even live in a town with a gym. I live in a teeny tiny village called Sterling, where if you want to extend it to the external areas a little bit, it's like 4,000 people at best. We don't have a gym. I would have to travel 45 minutes. So even there, the barrier to entry is just nope. So right there. So then we had to increase, okay, what level of belief do you have? Do you believe you could work out at home for an hour? I said, "Oh my gosh, Alan, you see all the things I do already for this company. I'm a homeschooling mom of 2 boys. I have a household, all of these things. Nope, an hour is not going to do it. My belief is like maybe a 2 there." Okay. Do you believe you could lift weights for a half hour every day at home? I said, "Weights every day? Absolutely not. Absolutely not." But also, I deeply believe in female cyclical health. We shouldn't be lifting heavy every day. Can we do that during certain parts of our cycle? Absolutely. Leverage that. Other seasons, it's not so great. But
Amazing.
right, so then we just got down to okay, what verbiage makes sense to you and what time slot makes sense to you because you want it to be measurable and you want it to be clear. I said, okay, I
And you want
believe
it to be doable.
doable, sustainable, key.
Right. Exactly.
Sustainability is key. I said, I believe I can move my body in an aligned way every day for 30 minutes. And with that, it gives me enough variable room. It gives me enough adaptation where, yes, some days I'm absolutely lifting weights now, but some days it's a hike with my kids and that counts. Some days it's yoga because I'm, let's say, deep in my inner winter and I just need to stretch and be nice and soft and whatever it is. And so that, and because I have been able to do that, because we honored my layer and level of belief, we leveraged that and we took it to a place that made the most sense to me. I've been able to do that, like I said, for over 1,000 days when I had never been able to do that before. So belief
Wow.
and consistency are really, really important. When you were talking about money, you're talking about the compound effect. I am a deep
Exactly.
believer and advocate of the compound effect, but that you need to leverage the compound effect a lot. You just even just 0.1% every day, getting a little bit better at something is going to unbelievably create momentum in the compound effect for you. So when you're looking at whatever your individual version of success is, your self belief, your self worth, and your ability to be consistent in that thing and create habits that you can do every day are so pivotal in helping you reach that version of success. So, if self belief is that external capability, and you think, oh my gosh, well, Amy, you've obviously had high self belief forever. You were born with it. I don't have that. No, but also,
Right.
yes, you can build it. All of these things you can build. You are not born with a set level and you are not stuck at a level. You can build self-belief. 3 steps: state, prove, self-assign. Say you're going to do something, get it done, and have the moment of self-assigning, of self-celebration, of, hey, I did that thing. And I actually encourage you to start off with do it with the most mundane things that you actually don't believe you're worthy of celebrating. I have women doing this for their skincare, for brushing their teeth twice a day, because they'll look at me and be like, Amy, that's stupid. I do not deserve to self assign and acknowledge that I've done these things. I'm like, yes, you do, because that's how we build self belief. If you can do it for things like the laundry and things like taking care of yourself or reaching out and getting one of those emails done every day, whatever it is, say you're going to do it, get it done, and have the moment of, hey, I did this thing, because that's what builds it into the identity. It builds belief into the identity so that you are constantly compounding the identity along the way so that if you get there, you don't get imposter syndrome. It's like, oh, why did I get here? What is happening? I don't deserve to
Right.
be here. Where if you're building belief along the way, it mitigates that a lot. And so
And
state proof self.
you're doing this in baby steps.
Yes, always.
I mean,
Sustainability.
right? Sustainability. Sustainability. You know, in a lot of ways, life is wonderful, but in a lot of ways, life sucks,
Yes.
right? And over the years, all of us, there isn't anybody, I can't even imagine anybody is excluded in this. All of us pick up bullshit that we plant in our heads. We
Mhm.
all do, right? And some of that is stuff that is stuck inside there that are causing us not to believe in ourselves, right? I'm not good enough. I can't do that. What if they laugh at me? I mean, just dumb stuff. And a lot of times I blame I used to. I've forgiven him and I've accepted him and I understand him now, but I used to blame my dad, right? And then I grew up and now I have 2 kids and I have 3 grandkids and I ask for their forgiveness every day, every time I see them because of, I mean, just things that even not purposely,
Yes.
right? Saying, I don't have time for you right now. I mean, how do they interpret that? And
Yeah.
what do they plant inside their heads? And so do you have anything for folks to, you know, get rid of some of those limiting beliefs, and then in addition to building that self-belief inside of you?
Yeah. Helping build your own belief. So doing those things that I was talking about helps quiet those voices a little bit because you're
Got
building
it. Yes.
an identity. But also when we're assessing beliefs, because when we're looking at core aspirations or goals, we want to make sure that your core values and your core beliefs, we all have all three, line up.
Right.
Because if you have core aspirations, but your core values don't align with that, or your beliefs don't make sense to that, you're going to go
Oh,
off the rails and you're going to
yeah.
self-sabotage and you're never going to get there. So it's really important that those three things align. And beliefs, beliefs are so powerful and they're so
Oh,
rooted
they're everything.
deep
Yeah.
within us. And so a really powerful question just to start assessing beliefs is this mine? Is this even mine? Did I come up with this belief, or was that something I was raised into?
Ooh.
Is this belief mine? And then you get to kind of dig deep and say, well, where did I come from? Well, I grew up in a household. I mean, let's use something as extreme as racism. Okay. I grew up in a household that was racist, let's say. But is that my belief now as an adult? Do I have that? Is that something I decided? And you'll see they'll just be like, no, I don't actually believe that. And then they get to do the work that goes along into that. Now, again, racism is an extreme belief, obviously, but
Hmm.
it's something that we can all understand. But these beliefs are rooted so deep, and it's really fascinating to explore where they come from. Like they said, stuff comes from our parents. Stuff there's
It,
religious beliefs that don't align with us when we're older versus how we grew up. There's I mean, a lot of low self-worth comes from that kind of area too. What we believe we're worthy of or not worthy of. It comes from the beliefs and the things we were
you
born
bet.
built around and subjected to. And unfortunately, for women, their low self-worth is very dictated on their external environment. We see in women, if you're a worthy woman, if you're a good wife, if you're a good mother, if you're a good daughter, if you're a good community member, are you a good sister? Worthiness in women is valued externally. And it's very sad to see. Now, if we decide as women, hey, I find I get a lot of value and worth from contributing to society, from being a mother, that's different because that's a choice that you're making to from the inside out.
Hmm.
But so many women are going outside in. And self-worth is the opposite of self-belief, where self-worth is an internal game. Like I said in the beginning, the people who are saying, well, I'm not worthy of feeling healthy, of investing in myself, time, energy, and money to becoming healthier. That's a sign of low self-worth. If you
Yeah.
don't feel like you're worthy of investing into, whether by others or yourself, that's a red flag for low self-worth. So low self-worth is that internal game.
That is so interesting because even just a couple of weeks ago, I was talking about how to not how to, but the idea that um, we identify we live by other people's expectations,
A lot.
and you know, figuring out and understanding just that one piece, right? That we live our lives based on what the outside world expects of us. And just making that little shift. And but I never took it or examined it or looked at it from the perspective of women versus men,
Mm,
right? And women, what I think what you just said is that women do that on steroids.
yes.
I mean, basically, and I have to, I kind of giggled a little bit when you were talking because I had a conversation with my wife, and when one day I realized that women don't dress up nicely for men, women dress up nicely for other women.
Majority, yeah,
And
for
my
perception.
and yeah, and I asked my wife that, and she goes, "Of course." I said, "What?" I said, "I thought you dress up for me." She goes, "I don't dress up for you. I could care
Sorry,
less
honey.
about you." Yeah. And so, wow. This
Yeah.
okay. So
You see that
this
in
is
women
as
all the time. They'll be going to a social event and
totally
be like, well, what are you wearing? What's everyone going to be wearing? Because heaven forbid I show up in what I want to wear and then be ostracized, right? It's a whole thing.
exactly. Wow. So yeah, we talked about a lot of stuff today. I mean, we talked about self-belief, self-worth, consistency. Wow. Okay, so here's the thing. Here's another thing. I've always believed that, one of the keys to success and failure and potentially extreme success and failure is kind of affected by the people you hang out with, the people you surround yourself with. And if you're surrounding yourself with people who are saying, "Ah, that's stupid. Oh, you're not, that's not going to work. Oh, yeah, but look at her. I mean, she's a totally different person than you are, right?" Um, that's one that's one path. But taking the other path and surrounding yourself with people who are going to encourage you, who are going to love you, who are going to say, I mean, who are going to cheer you on, you know, um, finding those people and making them part of your life. And here's the thing. If you want to surround yourself with supportive people, you have to start with being a supportive person yourself,
Yes.
right? I mean, it's
Yes.
not a one-way street, right?
Yes. And the more you increase your self-worth, the easier that becomes, actually.
Oh,
So what's really amazing is I love the sentence, you are the average of the five people you spend the most time with. Now that is a blanket statement, and you hear it all the time. And what I love about it is it is actually one of the only things that applies to everybody. How many blanket statements do you hear out there in the success world, the personal development world, all of the things that actually only truly speak to a certain percentage of people, and for others, it's actually extremely detrimental. For example, you can't speak to someone with high self-belief the same way you do to someone who has low self-belief. You can't.
right,
One is very,
right.
very harmful
Doesn't
to
work.
another. It doesn't work at all. But yet we have these blanket statements everywhere, and it's insane. But that one is true. And if you continue to surround yourself with people who have low belief themselves, low worth themselves, and try to project that onto you, not only does it get into your psyche, whether you're conscious of it or not, that's the thing. People are saying, no, I'm aware of it, and it doesn't need to affect me. It does. It does on an unconscious level.
Totally.
We have these things in our body called mirror neurons that we have no control over. They are automatic. And you will average out to the five people that you spend the most time with. We draw this out for clients all the time. We call it their five-pointed star. You put them in the center and you put a name on each point of that star of the five people they spend the most time with. And then we get them to pick a number from 0 to 10 of how, again, if this person's on a wealth journey, let's say they're trying to become more financially abundant. Okay, well, from 0 to 10, how financially abundant is this person? Oh, 2, 3, 6, right? You're the average of that. And when you can paint that picture, it's really powerful for people to see.
Oh my God. I'm going to repeat that because I wrote it down. You are the average of the five people you spend the most time with.
Yep, you can't help it.
That, I mean, that isn't even anything that I need to think about. I mean, you said those words and I went, yep, that's right. And you
Yeah.
think about it, and I mean, smart, but it goes back to birds of a feather flock together, right? I mean, it's the smart people are the groups of people that are on average really, really high IQ people. You're going to be a really high IQ person, right?
Yeah.
So okay, here's a secret to this, you guys. Um, Figure out what you want to be and start hanging out with those people.
Yes. Find them. And it is okay if you are a small fish in a large pond for a little while. In fact, it's really important to get in those kinds of places. A lot of us get really comfortable as the big fish in the small pond. We need to learn to
Right.
not get comfortable there. You're never going to grow if you
That's
stay as the
right.
big small pond. You want to find circles where you are the small fish and have that influence pour into you and have that drive to, okay, these people around me are really smart. If I want to hang here, I better read some more books. That's
And
okay.
be curious.
Get curious. Oh, get curious. And sometimes it takes high self-belief to be curious. And sometimes it takes increasing your self-worth to be able to surround yourself with those kind of people to make yourself feel worthy to be in those kinds of places. But that's a huge part. So self-worth starts with self-belief. It really does. Keeping the
That's
promises
right.
you make to yourself makes you feel more worthy as a person. But then it's about boundaries. It's about social courage. It's about investing in yourself. And it's about learning to have comparison for healthy motivating, inspirational reasons versus to a detriment. If you can master those five things, your self-worth will grow.
That is crazy and doable.
Yes. And
Doable.
so NLU, we have communities for everything. We have a sub community in WhatsApp for fitness. We have a fitness community where people go in there every day and just
There's
post a little picture
there
of
you
what they're
go.
doing. Help, right? We leverage that all the time. We have a book club that starts actually for me in a couple minutes, but we have a book club and we have a sub community where we keep a chat going for our book club, where we do growth oriented books every week.
And they're all out there. I
And
mean,
they're
it is
all,
so
yes,
easy
yes.
to find these communities. Just go to Facebook. I mean, I just they're all over the place.
They're
It is
everywhere. And it doesn't
so
have to be for
easy.
success. It can be if you're,
Yeah.
let's say, a homemaking mother who, like I myself, I homeschool. I love being a part of homeschool communities and
There's a
getting
group for that.
other people. There is. There really is. Or maybe you're looking to have healthier meals for your family and you want to start eating more healthy. Surround yourself with people who are doing that, who are sharing recipes. Go online. Like that's the beauty of the internet nowadays. Now, I really feel social media and the internet can be very detrimental, but we can use
Absolutely.
it as a tool this way to
That's
find these
right.
sorts of
That's right.
communities and influence.
You take the good, leave the
Yes.
bad, take
Yes.
the good,
And that
right?
filter.
You don't want to get into groups that are gonna a group called "You Suck," right?
No, but
I mean,
here's
I
what
mean,
sucks though. Genuinely, you can go into, let's say, the chronic illness space. I've been in many groups for endometriosis, and it is a pity party victim mindset.
yeah,
No
you
one
don't want
is
to
in
be
there.
there. You don't want to
You,
be there.
no, no, because the second someone posts something good about their journey, they say, "Oh my gosh, I had a win today. I had a pain-free day, and I think it's because I did this." They get attacked in the comments. It's not a thing,
Uh,
not a, so be really careful.
yeah,
Really
yeah.
careful about those groups, but they are out there and there are supportive ones and you just get to find places that work for you and you get to choose what is influencing you. And if you don't feel like you have that skill, build your self-worth genuinely.
And give yourself, as you look at these different groups, give yourself a quota of looking at 20.
Yes.
Somewhere in that 20, you're going to find a good one and you're going to feel it. It's one of those things where I check your heart. Your heart will tell you if it's a good group. Your brain might tell you it's a good group, but if your heart says, "Yeah, you know what? I don't know about these guys," fine, go to the second one, then go to the third one, then go to the fourth one. When your brain and your heart says, "Yeah, this feels like a really good place to be,"
Yeah.
you're probably in a pretty good place. Amy, this has been incredible. This has been an incredible conversation. All right, so how and by the way, if you find yourself where we're encouraging you, surround yourself with positive people, surround yourself with those other four people or those other five people that are going to lift you, that are going to lift your average. I mean, imagine this. You're playing basketball and you're learning basketball, and I'm 64 years old and I'm learning basketball playing basketball with a bunch of grade schoolers. You know, think about how much I'm going to learn. Then all of a sudden they throw me onto the basketball court with the LA Lakers. You think I'm going to learn a little bit more playing with the LA Lakers? I'm going to look like an idiot, but you know what? I'm
But you're gonna feel
for
pretty compelled to
sure.
try your best.
Exactly. So, holy cow. All right, Amy. And if people want to learn more about you, if people want to connect with you, what's the best way?
I mean, I'm on Facebook and Instagram. I know there's so many other platforms out there. I can barely manage the two. It's just Amy Lenius at Amy Lenius,
Okay.
Facebook or Instagram. My DMs are always open if you want to talk about self-worth, or maybe you just need an empathetic ear if you're dealing with chronic illness, your cycles, female health, anything like that. I mean, sometimes it's nice to just vent to somebody who has been there. That's always nice too. My goal always is just to create a safe space for people.
Oh my gosh. I love that. I love that.
Yes,
And Amy Lenius,
Mhm.
AMY, Lenius is spelled just like it sounds, Lenius.
That's right.
Close us out, Amy.
All of this genuinely is based in self-awareness. It really is. Are you aware of the people you're spending the time with? Are you aware of your ability to be consistent? How are you with your beliefs? Do you believe things are possible for you and worth it? All of this is rooted in self-awareness. The more you can learn about you, the better you're going to be able to navigate the world and navigate what success means to you and navigate health and navigate all of these things. So just keep building that self-awareness and leverage the compound effect. It doesn't have to be from 0 to 10. Get better 1% every day. Listen to a podcast like this. Things are free. This is free for you to listen to. And this absolutely made you just that 1% better today because you got a new awareness that maybe you can implement. So self-awareness, dive in and go on that journey because it is absolutely worth it. Is it all love, light, and fun every day? Absolutely not.
Oh
No,
God, no.
there are some hard moments on that journey, but
Oh,
they are
totally.
worth it. They are so worth it. So keep learning about you, keep learning about how you show up in the world, how you want to show up in the world, and just where that's going to take you.
That is so beautiful. That is so beautiful. I just wrote these two words down. Learn you. Again, we talk about all the learning and we were talking about earlier, teaching a class on what they don't teach in school. Um, One of the things that nobody ever says, everybody says, learn this, learn that, learn engineering, learn math, learn. Nobody has ever said to me, learn you,
Mhm.
right? Learn you. And, take the time to learn you. Take 5 minutes a day just to examine you. And if you don't break down in tears, you're not looking deep enough.
I agree.
You know, Amy, this has been a beautiful, beautiful conversation. I am so grateful you joined me. And thank you for all you do. I love you. God bless you. And folks, you gotta share this. Please share this. And this is not for the podcast or whatever. This is a podcast of sharing. And I'm going to share this with everybody I know, and starting with my family. And so, all of you out there, thank you for joining us. I love you. God bless you. Um, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And we'll see you next time. Thanks.